Birthdays were always sacred in our family. Not because of fancy gifts or expensive dinners, but because my father insisted that we sit together, share a meal, and talk. He would say, "The best gift you can give me is your time." But this year was different. Dad's health had been fragile lately, and I wanted to make his birthday unforgettable, something more than the usual home-cooked dinner. I had planned everything in secret, a reservation at Monarch's, the most prestigious restaurant in our city. It was a place where businessmen signed million-dollar deals and politicians dined under low chandeliers. When I told my mother, expecting her approval, she laughed, not kindly, but in the sharp, cutting way that leaves bruises you can't see. "You? At Monarch's? Do you even realize how much it costs to eat there? You can't afford that. Don't make promises you can't keep." Her words struck harder than she realized. For years, she had doubted me, my choices, my career, even my worth. And yet, I had quietly built something she knew nothing about. That night, as I walked my father and mother through the gilded glass doors of Monarch's, my heart thudded in my chest. I wasn't nervous about the bill. I was nervous about the secret I was about to reveal. The main conflict, shadows of the past. I wasn't born into privilege. My parents worked tirelessly to give me a decent life, but they also believed in safe dreams, jobs with security, paths already paved. When I turned 22 and announced that I was starting my own business, my mother nearly fainted. "Startups are for rich kids, not for people like us. You'll fail. And when you do, don't expect us to pick up the pieces." My father had been quieter. He patted my shoulder and whispered, "If you believe in it, son, go for it. Just don't forget who you are." The years that followed were brutal. Long nights, failed contracts, debt that seemed like a noose around my neck. But with persistence, and maybe a streak of madness, my company grew. We provided technology solutions to restaurants and hotels, building loyalty programs, reservation systems, and data analytics tools. One of our earliest clients had been Monarch's. I remembered sitting nervously across from the owner, pitching software on a borrowed laptop, praying it wouldn't crash. The deal went through. Years later, when Monarch's faced bankruptcy during the pandemic, it was my company that bailed them out. Eventually, the owner offered me something unthinkable, a stake in the restaurant itself. And so, without my parents knowing, Monarch's became mine. But my mother never believed in my success. Every time she asked about my work, her words carried suspicion. "Are you really making money, or just scraping by?" She couldn't see beyond the boy she thought would always fall short. That was why tonight mattered. I didn't just want to celebrate Dad's birthday. I wanted to show him, and her, the life I had built despite their doubts. The dinner, a night of reveals. When we stepped inside Monarch's, the maitre d' immediately recognized me. "Mr. Rahim. Welcome back." His smile widened. "We have your favorite table ready." My mother froze. Her eyes darted from me to the maitre d', suspicion written across her face. "You know him?" she asked. The maitre d' looked almost offended. "Of course. Mr. Rahim is one of our most valued patrons." Dad chuckled. "Seems like you've been keeping secrets, son." I only smiled, letting the mystery linger as we followed the staff to a private corner booth beneath a grand chandelier. The menus were placed in front of us. My mother frowned at the prices, her lips tightening into a thin line. "This is ridiculous," she whispered. "We don't belong here. I told you, you can't afford this." I took a breath, swallowing the sting of her words. "Just relax, Mom. Tonight is about Dad." The dinner began with laughter. Dad's face lit up as the servers brought out dish after dish, each more exquisite than the last. He tried foods he had never even heard of, his eyes gleaming like a child's. For a moment, all the tension dissolved into warmth. But my mother couldn't resist. "This is madness," she muttered halfway through. "Do you know how much this will cost?" We should have just had biryani at home. Her voice carried louder than she intended. The table grew tense. Dad sighed. Please, just let him do this. It's my birthday. Her words pierced me. Even here, in this place I owned, she still thought I was incapable. The twist, truth under the chandeliers. When dessert was served, the head chef himself brought it to the table. A delicate chocolate sphere that melted when warm sauce was poured over it, revealing layers of flavors hidden inside. For Mr. Rahim and his family, the chef said warmly. On the house. My mother stiffened. On the house? Why would they give us that? The chef chuckled. Because this restaurant wouldn't be standing without your son. He's not just a guest here. He's our owner. The words landed like thunder. My mother's face drained of color. She looked at me as though seeing me for the first time. Owner, she whispered. Dad blinked rapidly, tears gathering in his eyes. You never told us. I wanted to, I admitted softly. But every time I tried, Mom reminded me I wasn't capable. That I couldn't afford it. So I decided to let my work speak for me. The silence at our table felt heavier than the chandeliers above us. My mother's hands trembled as she set her fork down. You should have told us, she whispered, her voice breaking. All these years, I thought you were just chasing dreams. I was, I said. But dreams aren't worthless, Mom. They're what built this. Resolution, a father's pride, a mother's reflection. Dad reached across the table and gripped my hand. His voice shook with emotion. Son, I don't care about the restaurant, or the money, or any of it. I care that you proved to yourself that you could do it. I've never been prouder in my life. My mother sat in silence, her expression unreadable. She had always been strong-willed, always certain she was right. For the first time, I saw doubt in her eyes, and something else, too. Shame. When we left Monarchs that night, the staff lined up at the door, bowing slightly as we passed. Good night, Mr. Rahim, they chorused. Outside, the cool air wrapped around us. My father smiled, tears glistening in his eyes. My mother looked away, clutching her purse tightly. We stood there, the three of us, in a silence that wasn't quite comfortable but wasn't hostile either. It was the silence of truths finally spoken, of walls beginning to crack. Conclusion, the unfinished bridge. That night, I lay awake thinking about everything that had happened. My father's pride warmed me like a blanket. But my mother's silence lingered like an ache. I didn't know if she would ever apologize, or if she even knew how. But perhaps, deep down, the seeds of understanding had been planted. Maybe one day she would look at me not as the boy who couldn't afford a dinner, but as the man who had built something she never thought possible. And maybe that was enough for now. After all, life's biggest victories aren't about proving others wrong. They're about proving ourselves right. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't look forward to the day my mother finally said the words I had been waiting my whole life to hear. I'm proud of you. Until then, I would keep building, keep striving, and keep inviting her to the table, whether she thought I belonged there or not.